Texas. I'm hoping all of you are enjoying this extended break. I know a lot has gone on recently, so I just want to let you know that I miss you guys and I can't wait to see you all again. I would like to take this moment to read a story from the Bible, and I feel like this really fits into what's going on right now. And so, if you will, go ahead and grab your Bible or your phone and come with me to Matthew 14:24 through 31. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the fourth watch of the night Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were in trouble, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer, for it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me upon the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come out of the boat, he walked on the water to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you ever doubt me?" So in this, we have the disciples, and they were stuck in the middle of the sea. So I want you right now, just put yourself right now in the middle of the sea, and you are surrounded just by water. There's no land, there's nothing, it is just you. And all of a sudden you have all this wind pushing against your boat, and you have waves that are starting to crash into you, and all of a sudden you're starting to get so scared because you feel helpless. I would say this is how they felt in this moment. Even the disciples were scared. And this all happened right after God had fed the 5,000, and he went on the mountain to pray, and that's when they said that the waves started crashing onto the boat. And right now, I would say, is a time we are feeling that. We are feeling like everything's starting to just crash together. We're starting to feel very helpless, very insecure. We don't have that sturdy development of trust. But it later says in verse 25 and 26 that Jesus began to walk on the water to the disciples. And the disciples said, "It is a ghost." Like, these disciples, they're like, "This is a ghost. There's no way that somebody can walk on water." And this is one time out of the many times us humans don't understand the ability of God. And Peter says in verse 14:28, "If this is you, Jesus, command me out on the water." And Jesus commanded him to come, and Peter began to walk on the water. But Peter became afraid and distracted. And the moment he became distracted and fearful was the same moment he started sinking. Right now, I believe a lot of people have become afraid. They feel as if the whole world around them is literally going crazy. And they understand that there's a God, but they don't understand his ability to push them out. I find myself, and this is just me, and I'm going to be personal, and I'm going to be honest, I doubt God's ability sometimes. And that's just human. That's the human in me. Humans have a set skill. Humans can only do so much before they exceed their limits. And I see myself doubting that God can do something for me because I can't do it. But God, even when we are doubting him or lose faith in his work, he still makes a way. If you read on in Matthew, what we just read, Peter cried out to Jesus saying, "Lord, save me." After he began to sink, he was screaming. He's like, "God, save me." And Jesus said, "Oh, you with little faith, why did you ever doubt me?" And Jesus reached out his hand to Peter and saved him. Just when Peter lost faith in Jesus' ability to allow him to walk on the water is the moment he allowed fear to replace his faith in God. So sometimes when you feel as if you're sinking, it's time for you to reach up your hand and say, "God, I need you." And there's no shame in saying it because we all need him. But that moment when you take all your selfish desires and you put it behind you and say, "God, I need you," is the moment that God will begin to do miraculous things in your walk. I encourage everyone right now watching that in the midst of the chaos that you remember that God has a plan and that there is a God who's reaching out his hand right now to you, and he is trying to save you. Don't allow that fear to have authority over your ministry or over your faith. I know some of you, I remember my first time driving. It was the coolest thing in the world. But some of you are getting ready to drive, or maybe you're thinking about driving. And the moment you get your first car, you instantly start creating a relationship with that car, that trust with that car. You trust that every time you put that key in and you turn the ignition, you have faith that it will start up. The same thing is with faith. You can't have a sturdy faith in something without a relationship. You have faith that when you walk into your house, you're safe because you created that relationship. So I encourage everyone right now, start that relationship now so that your faith continues to grow without a unsturdy foundation. I use this example sometimes where, it's like having faith without a foundation is kind of like having a boat without a sail or a paddle. You don't go anywhere. You can't move. But there's something about having that firm foundation that moves you from one place to the next, and you don't even know how, but it does it. I was going hiking a couple of weeks ago. I did it quite a few times. I'm trying to get that workout in before break is over with, and I remember seeing all these athletic people. They're carrying these huge backpacks. Like, these things were enormous. And I remember sitting there, I was like, if they would just take that backpack off, they would get up that mountain so much quicker. But then again, that's probably why they're doing it, so they have a little bit more of a harder time getting up there. But I sat there and I was like, that's how we are. Sometimes it's not that we don't have faith, it's that we don't know how to let go. We carry so much on our backpack. We carry so much jealousy, so much hate, so much fear that when we try to walk with God, we just sink. When we try to follow God, we sink because we carry too much with us. So right now, wherever you are, I want you to begin to pray. I want you to give that 5 minutes of prayer to God. I want you to read your Bible, and I want you to give that time to God. I want you all to stay safe and have a blessed week. Love you guys.